Hello, I'd like to give you a small experience report on the recent project that we did. And the goal of this project was to take an existing course on web technology and to extend it by integrating a new service learning component into this course. Now, service learning, that's something that originated in the 70s in the US within the social sciences, but which is recently also gaining a broader appeal. The idea of service learning is that students learn within the context of an academic course, but they learn by doing something practical, and the practical thing that they do reflects a civic engagement. So that means the idea is that students learn by providing a service for and in a community. So in this way, service learning differs, for instance, from a traditional internship because you have this civic engagement component, this idea of providing a service. Um, we wanted to integrate such a component into our course, on the one hand, because we thought this would help students to be more motivated. But on the other hand, in this way, we also wanted to help students learn some things that we thought they had difficulties in learning otherwise. So, for instance, we wanted to use service learning in order to encourage creativity in students, the kind of creativity that programmers or software engineers need, namely the creativity to develop novel solutions to problems. On the other hand, we also wanted to use service learning in order to increase the empathy of the students. So typically our students are all people who are very good with technology, and sometimes they have difficulty in imagining that other people lack their skill with technology. So using the service learning component, we basically wanted to help students realize that some people struggle more with technology than they do, and that properly designing a piece of software to take into account the target audience is actually key in real life, and that this can also have a very big impact on the value of the software project and ultimately also on people's lives. Um, the way in which we sought to introduce service learning into this course was we reached out to a local social profit organization, the organization Why Not. And what Why Not does is they offer this online platform that you see on the slide. And this is a platform intended for children with disabilities, either physical or mental. Um, and the platform allows these children to, for instance, send messages to each other, to read some news articles, but also to play a number of simple video games. And so the idea is that this is a very safe corner of the internet where these pupils can also enjoy being online without having to worry about any of the risks that are associated with the real internet. And so the assignment that we gave our students was to design and develop a new game for this website, which was to teach pupils some basic computer skills. So basic here means really basic. So for instance, to teach them how to click or double click or to move the mouse. And so that was the assignment that we gave to our students. We first had an introductory session where we explained this assignment. And then we had a startup session at a school for these pupils. And so in this startup session, our students actually got to interact with the pupils. They got to watch the pupils as they were using the Why Not platform. After this interaction, then the students got a few weeks to develop a first prototype. This prototype was then installed on the Why Not website. And then our students went back to the same school for a feedback session in which they could, on the one hand, see the pupils interact with the software that they developed so far. And on the other hand, they also got individual feedback from the social profit organization on the product that they had delivered so far. And then the students had a few more weeks in which to finish their game, and they had to give, at the end of the project, a presentation about their work and about how they approached this. So just to give you an example, here you see a project made by a group of 3 students who were given the assignment to build a game that would help pupils learn how to move the mouse around. So they had to come up with a concept all by themselves. They also had to look or even make their own artwork for this project. And so what these students did here was they built this game that you see here, where a user has to move a flashlight around in a darkened cave in order to find a bat that is hidden somewhere in this dark cave. Okay, so how did the students experience this project? Well, first of all, the students clearly were very motivated for this project. So they liked knowing the fact that our code would make a difference, that it would actually be used by real people and not just discarded after some exam had been passed. Um, we also really managed to engage the students' creativity here. So the students really spent a lot of effort in trying to come up with games that were fun yet simple enough for the target audience, and they really thought back to the kind of things that they enjoyed. They also took advantage of the opportunities to talk with the children and figure out what kind of things that they like. Also, this really engaged the students' empathy. So they all were very enthusiastic about working with this target audience, and they really paid a lot of attention to how they could build something that would really appeal to this target audience. Also, the feedback session that we had helped a great deal for this, because there they could really see whether the game that they had designed so far really appealed to the pupils or not. And sometimes this was very drastic. If they made a game which the pupils didn't like for some reason, then they had absolutely no problem in just opening the game, looking at it for 2 seconds and saying, oh, this looks boring, I'm going to do something else instead. So all in all, the students were very happy with this project. They felt that they learned something here that they wouldn't have learned in other courses, and that they picked up some new skills, this creativity, this empathy, this attention to the end user that will surely come in useful in their later career. And so what I think was very good about the way in which we tried to approach this project was that on the one hand, we had a technical challenge for the students. So they had some new academic skills that they needed to learn. On the other hand, we also had this non-profit organization, which was very important for guiding the students, for giving them feedback, and for providing them with the confidence that they would actually be able to make something that would appeal to the target audience. And then, of course, the target audience themselves was also very important to motivate the students and to really engage their creativity and empathy. And in particular, I think that this feedback session that we had at the school was a very unique experience for the students, because there they really got to see how the pupils interacted with their own software, while we also had an expert from Why Not on site who would give the students one-on-one feedback about what was going wrong or what was going right, and about how they could improve their own projects. So to sum up, after this project, we had some very happy students. They found this to be a very motivating experience where they really learned some new and useful skills. Also, our social profit partner organization was very happy. So all of the games that the students developed were put on their website, and they are freely accessible in case you would like to try them out. So naturally, I myself am also a very happy professor at the end of this service learning project. I hope that you also found this to be an interesting presentation. I'm sorry I didn't conduct any kind of systematic evaluation, so I have no questionnaires or something to tell you about. But if you have further questions about the service learning project, then please don't hesitate to contact me. Thank you very much.